Andalusia has a very unique feeling to it. There's this really cool kind of energy left in the architecture, like the Alhambra, in the whole of Andalusia.
In the mountains, it's like time has stopped. You'll have this taste of these hanging villages that we talk about why they stand there.
So it really is a big thing. We always say, pack your spirit of adventure. And it really is a lovely atmosphere.
We want to be free. We want to have the time to be ourselves.
We are a sister-run company. Sarah and I took on a company that had been running since 2000, and we started in 2021. It was a time, I don't know if you remember back then, it was COVID, and the company was pretty much dormant. And the woman who ran it was looking for a home for it. And both Sarah and I were at a stage in our lives where Sarah had been working in a Montessori nursery that shut in COVID. I was running a charity that was very much face-to-face with children and pretty much came to a standstill as well during COVID. And in that time, I think for a lot of people, we all thought, actually, how do we want to spend our time? And you'll see that picture of us there. We're Lincolnshire girls and grew up there in the countryside with animals, loving adventure. And it seemed the right time for us to take on a company that needed a new home. So we took it on in 21, started holidays in 22, and wanted to sort of breathe a bit more life into, women, especially women in later life. We can run companies, we can adventure, we can stay active long into our later years. And it was very much about showing that we can still get out there and do things. So that's really the essence of who Walking Women is. All our guides are women. Well, all our team are women, and we support lots of women-led businesses along the way. And a lot of our hotels are family-run, women-run. So that's just a bit about the essence of who we are. And we started in 22 with 30 holidays just to really get ourselves back on track. And Capilera, and what you're going to hear about today, especially from Victoria, was one of the first destinations we went to. And we've got a particular love of Spain, which we'll talk about a bit later on. But Spain is one of our key destinations, always has been. We particularly focus on Andalusia. We love it. We're going to tell you more about it today. So that's just a bit about Walking Women, a bit about us. And now I'm going to hand over so that you can hear who else is going to be presenting today.
Hello, I'm Becca. I work for Walking Women doing background logistics and admin and support stuff for Ginny for all of our holidays. Basically anything she needs doing, I'm here. And well, this photo is me on my way to do a hike here in Spain where I now live. I've lived here for nearly 5 years. And I'm also a yoga teacher, and I've been teaching yoga for much longer than I've been living in Spain, nearly 14 years. And so, I also love hiking, and so that's me about to go off on a hike. Over to you, Victoria.
Hi, everyone. I am Victoria Bocanegra. I am mountain guide. I'm a ski instructor in wintertime here in the resort. You may wonder, wow, south of Spain, do they have snow? Yes, we do have snow in the mountains, but we're going to be wondering about all this national park. And I'm also Alhambra official guide.
Thanks, Victoria. Just to talk to you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. So basically, by the end of the session with you, we want you all to have really had a taste of Spain, to go away with that real feeling that we all love about Spain, and to make you think, well, I really want to go there. So that's all of our job, is to really inspire you to think, oh, I can understand what it is. What is the passion that they all feel for Spain, that I want to go and be there. Most of you are probably new to Spain, and we want to share our love, our joys, and then also talk a bit, especially Victoria's going to talk to you about what the actual walks are like, what you can expect to see. We're going to talk about kit, what we would think is best for you to wear, why women-only adventures. So this is something at Walking Women, we're obviously very clear. Walking Women, it's about women having adventures. And the most important thing, that group of women reflects what many of our customers are. They are returning customers. And I think that says why people love women-only adventures, because they keep coming back. And Sue, the woman at the front, is on her 11th holiday since 2022. She's done 11 holidays with us. And her passion, and I'm going to mention this because Victoria's here, she wants to walk from the sea to the summit, which is a walk in Andalusia. So it just shows you, she said, I want to do it. I want to do it with women. I want Victoria guiding because she's walked with Victoria. So Victoria is in the middle of doing a recce so we can offer that to some of our lovely walking women. And all of those women in that picture have all done more than 2-3 holidays. And they come back and back. And why they come back is primarily they do come back because they love to be guided. And they love the fact it's women guides. And that's Victoria there. That's some of the people on one of our, I think that was last October. Smiling people do have a great time. But what they say is, well, it's about that safety you get walking with other women. That sometimes people say they used to travel on their own, but they were going to remote areas and they don't feel safe. So walking together in a group, especially with an experienced mountain guide, it gives them the confidence to do things that maybe they wouldn't do otherwise. So it really is a big thing. It's about safety. It's about walking with other like-minded women. And actually, one of our guides in Norway, to start with, she said, oh my God, these women, they chat so much. Then now she says, and now I get it. They're just really enjoying each other's company, being together, making new friends. And a lot of our travelers are solo travelers, not all. Some come with daughters, with friends, with partners. There's all sorts of women that come on our trips. But the common thing is that they really want to connect together, be guided, not have to think, feel safe, and really enjoy the place that they're in. So that's what we always try and provide. That's showing some of the group that we had in the Alpujarras last October. We had a bit of rain, you can see, but still, that's the other thing. I think every group I've ever been on, whatever the weather, people are so chilled, so relaxed. They kind of understand it might be like this. We always say, pack your spirit of adventure. And it really is a lovely atmosphere. Some people spend a lot of time together. Other people go off and have their own moments. But some of them have got partners at home, husbands at home. We had a woman recently who said to me, this is what I like about women only. It's that my husband doesn't like to walk and he doesn't like to think of me going off wandering on my own. So he likes the idea that I'm joining a group of women and he knows I'm being guided. And she said she loves the chat, hanging out together, the sharing. So it's a really convivial environment.
All right. And yes, I think just to pick up on that energy, I wanted to share this story about Sarah, who was the oldest person in this group on a trip last year in her 70s. And she was supported by the whole of the rest of the group to plunge into this water walk, which everyone was a bit nervous about. Like there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk about shoes and what to do. And everyone just really supported each other and came through. And that's her smiling, having achieved it despite the nerves, despite all of those things. And that's really what these trips are about, like finding that support and that connection between women, which is something completely unique, that connection that you get with a only women group. And people often leave and they're friends and then they're booking their next holiday together already, even though they didn't know each other to start off with. And yeah, that's something that we really live and see.
I know the women on that trip, they have all just booked to go Several Hills together. So it's true, it happens and it's wonderful to see. So we highly recommend it, don't we? And anyway, Becky, you're talking about Spain.
So yes, I will talk about Spain. Welcome to Spain. We all love Spain here. And I'm just going to do a really quick orientation. So Spain is down here at the south of Europe. You've got France up here. This is Morocco. And so Victoria and I are both based down here in Andalusia, which is the largest region of Spain down here in the south. And I really love Andalusia. Andalusia has a very unique feeling to it. It was invaded by the Moors, which were the Arab and Berber people back in the day. And so there's this really cool kind of energy left in the architecture, like the Alhambra, for example, that Victoria mentioned, and this feeling in the whole of Andalusia. It's close to other parts of Europe. So if you're coming from far away and you're keen to explore, you can get to Portugal, you can get to France, there's Italy over there. It's very well situated and well connected as well with trains and public transport and things like that. So you see this over here is the mountains of the Sierra Nevada National Park. And so this is just a zooming in of that. And so you can see here the mountains. And over here, you've got Granada, which is a very beautiful city. And Capellera is over here, which is where we're going to really focus down into with Victoria. And over here is the sea. And so you can get to the beach quite easily from where we are situated.
I was just going to talk a bit about it. Why Spain? This is me in Spain. Well, Sarah knows well. Spain, actually, in our family has always been very important. My parents, for their honeymoon, went to Spain. And then Sarah had a place in Menorca. And I and my partner at the time went there a lot and had always talked about, actually, that was an island. The weather was a bit rocky. And actually, we always talked about moving somewhere or having more time, somewhere that was warm on the mainland, easily connected, as you said, Becca. And then we were together 25 years and sadly she died and I was left wondering, what would my life be like now, which is a lot of what happens when people have a bereavement. Partly why I thought, well, Walking Women is the thing to do, but also Spain became a big part of that. And I took off to Spain. I spent some time there and actually was looking for someone who could guide me and give me this experience of what was this area like. And someone recommended Victoria. I'd never walked in the Alpujarras, never walked in the Sierra Nevada. And I said, let's do the highest mountain. Why not? Anyway, up we went steadily, which is Victoria's Way. And we talked a lot. We walked and we made it to the summit. And that now is a very important part of all the walks we offer in this area. It's got something very special. What I love about Spain, I did get an apartment in Spain. It's right on the beach. And what I love is that you've got the sea right there. And then in an hour, you've got the mountains. And every time I land at Malaga Airport, my sister knows this, I absolutely adore that smell that you get. I think whether it's chorizo or whether it's, I don't know, Becky, but I don't know, there's a special smell of warmth, the light, the sun, blue sky. And I think if you can get that sense, it is just an incredible place to be. And I love actually walking in a bit of heat. We make sure we're in the shade. You won't always get the heat because it can rain also, and it needs the rain. But it is a fabulous place to really focus some fantastic holidays on. And it's Victoria who can share about those. And I think the next slide just shows you where we're talking about, which is the village. I love that village. It's at the top, Capellera, of the 3 white villages. And you can't beat just sitting there in that sun, looking at the amount of space around you, maybe having a little cerveza, little tapas. They're such a part of Spain, but it is just a joyful little village. And it is very small. It's a village. So if you're expecting lots of activity, there's still a lot goes on, but it's a small village.
All right, so there I am in front of a fountain. I love Spain because, as you said about the cerveza, the beer, the culture of having a caña, which is a small glass of beer, and the social element of it, that you sit outside, that your life is lived on the street. Everyone is so friendly. I love that here, everyone says hello, you stop. I have to leave my house early to get somewhere on time because you have a conversation. And I really love the warmness, the openness of people here. I love the sun and I love the language. I really love Spanish too. And of course, how could I have missed the landscape? Sierra, the mountains, and the beaches, everything. Spain has everything in my opinion. I love it. Otherwise I wouldn't have moved here. Anyway, that's enough from me. Victoria, why do you love Spain?
Well, I've been born here. I love my country. I love Andalusia. There is something very special about this area. How can I not be in love with my country? I find that the Andalusia offers for people that haven't had the experience of traveling, to discovering this way of living, another way of living, like a slow pace, a slow motion kind of. Of course, we've got the cities. Of course, we have the rush of the big mainland, but in the mountains, it's like time has stopped. You'll have this taste of these hanging villages that will talk about why they stand there, why this all has a Moorish background, plus before Roman, plus before Phoenician. So we have quite many civilizations have tried to live there. And our walks, we've got the national park. This is for everyone, taking into consideration. If you love moving, or some people are even having a bucket list of national parks they want to be doing. Well, this is one of the best and more beautiful of Spain. We get snow mostly all winter. And our walks are planned for basically May, when we have mild temperatures, and autumn, like sometime September, October, something like this. So we don't have the real heat of summer, which may be a shock for some people that don't know. And also the protection of the natural and national park is offering this original traditional landscape of built houses with the very same materials that are found in the land. About the walks, we have this one each day, but we can swap in case we want more. With the whole group agrees, and imagine everyone likes to go for more. We can always go for more. We can go for less if we find that for example, people just feel walks are too long. The walks are usually easy after breakfast time, and the walks are planned to be out, let's say, from 8, sometimes earlier, or around that, 9 o'clock at the latest, and to be back sometime around 4, sometimes around 6. At the very late, it will be 6. Those days, staying longer outdoors, will bring picnic, or we'll find somewhere where we love to have lunch. The picture shows the sunset from the village. Since all this gorge is located up high in the mountains, we get a late morning sunrise and an early sunset. And it has a very magical light. And sometimes we even get to see a sea of clouds. And on the picture, you get to see that one of the hikes we really love, which is coming back from the highest mountain. This is a completely different landscape. It has no trees. It's above 2,500 meters. This is a small video that shows how it feels coming down from the mountain back. It's hard to see, but at the very end, that is the sea. We get to see the shining sea from the top of the summit if we've got a clear day, which is very often. And sometimes we can even recognize the shape of Morocco mountains in the back. Well, in this picture, is showing one of the hikes I love the most, which is running through the medieval. It's called the medieval path. It's linking few villages. Remember, back in those days, there was no other way of communicating somewhere else but by walking with your mule or with your donkey or this. And there are easy trails, let's say easy. I want to mention that most of the trails have uneven terrain, so we'll get to the boots just to get more into it. But this is one of the medieval hikes that is linking villages. And as well, we get to go immerse inside a little forest in a spring of very special water that is supposed to bring eternal youth. This we haven't found yet. This would be one of the highlights of the trip. This is another video. This one is lower. This is another one that has to do with the closer to the village where we are actually staying. Is one of the shorter walks, but it's still a little bit challenging. But we don't ever go over 17 kilometers at the most. Then I wanted to share this picture because it shows the importance of the running water. These villages are all thriving and they all have a very beautiful, great architecture and everything. But the reason why they stem through the centuries is because they actually found a way of bringing water from the sources up the mountain to the very same center of the villages. This is a very special structure. It was first with Phoenicians, then Romans, and then time with the Arabs. They just went crazy about it. And it's something that we're going to walk even along some of those, what we call acequias, which is a system of water irrigation that goes all along the national park. And it has the official people that keeps them alive nowadays. Some of them, they have introduced a pipe to prevent from some things. Some are more modern, but in basic, they are all the same. And then we're moving to this slide, which shows the range of the summits. All that range is over 3,000, 3,300, something like that. On this picture, there is a very massive round-shaped mountain on the right-hand side. That is actually the highest peak of Iberian Peninsula. It looks tricky and it looks very spiky and it looks like difficult from northern side. But since we are going to be located on the southern side, the way to approach, that is like a big day for everyone because many people haven't ever reached a summit over, this is a 3,485 meters. And then the approach we have here, we have a little transportation that's linking the village where we're staying, kind of a little rusty bus, but has its excitement. That's taking us to a starting point where we gently do the hike. This is something I really love doing because many ladies have experience, but some others, it's the very first time reaching a summit. And on this case, we've got the chance to do it on a peaceful and with a good pace so everyone can do it. This is the top of the mountain. This is with our group. We have Ginny there too. And well, I love this picture. We've got there at least 3 ladies that are over 70 something, but it was an achievement. It was really an achievement. We were having this feeling a little bit of lack of oxygen. Then we saw that little by little we're getting good, the feeling of it. And it really, really, really makes me feel like everyone is great to do it because we are alive until we are alive. Oh, and then I wanted to jump on a little bit because we've got a little bit of culture immersion here. We've got one of the evenings prepared with a lovely family. This is a mother and a daughter. They offer live show where you're just sitting right next to them. And there is something many of you may know a little bit of flamenco. That is not just a dance. I want to point here that is to do with empowering women, with women showing off. There is nothing wrong with showing off. When we finish the show, I just say, why don't I walk like that in my everyday life? Why don't I feel proud of who I am? Why do I sometimes keep it like this? So I would say that this is a must, and it is something that will click for some of you. And definitely we love sharing what we think is, a highlight of the trip.
Can you do flamenco, Victoria?
For this, you really have to be very brave.
I wondered if we could learn. I think some of them did have a little session once, didn't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
So it's hard and you want to be very brave. You think you're brave because you are hiking somewhere and really tough or carrying lots of weight. Think about what it takes to show off as a woman with all the power and being there, just showing yourself. And so I think, we'll see if you love it as well, same as we do. Everyone coming always love it.
And actually, I was just going to say, Victoria, before we move on, was just to be really clear, we offer holidays. So they are a week long, pretty much, but we have different ones. But basically, this is a holiday where you stay together. So you walk every day, and then in the evening, you get all sorts of wonderful Spanish culture to add to your holiday.
Yeah, you get your time away. We've got these pictures from different trays. This is the funny one, hiding in the woods. Well, things, they just come up. We want to be free. We want to have the time to be ourselves. Also, I wanted to say that there is a point in life of many women that we've been the daughter, then we've been maybe the partner or the wife, then we've been the mother, and then everyone flies away. And then that's our time to be us, to live, to discover. So I believe there is no age for that. And I just love it when people, come to this discovering, because then just carry on moving.
So we were going to give a bit of tips of what you need to bring to wear. And then Victoria's going to tell you about where we stay and everything. So on this particular holiday, we don't go from place to place. We stay in one hotel and you come back every evening, which is lovely. The kit you need, we're just showing that even if it's southern Spain, it does rain. Everyone gets a kit list. 57 Hours have plenty of information about kit, but we always send out what you need for each specific holiday. And this is very much layers. And we say, you need long trousers as well as short trousers. You need raincoats as well as being able to shed everything and wear a t-shirt. So it can get many climates in one day. So we always say bring layers, bring a mix of clothes. But the good thing about Caponera, actually, you can also buy some things, because we've had that before, where you can actually buy certain things if you suddenly think, oh, I've forgotten something. Everyone carries a day pack, and we're going to talk about footwear. Details of kit will all be given to you, but footwear is very important. And one of the most important thing is that you don't come with new boots or shoes. We know people have a preference for shoes or boots. Most of the trails, as Victoria said, there's some rocky bits, but actually they're quite good trails. And I've worn shoes mostly, actually, but you can do with ankle support at some places. So what I tend to do is bring both shoes and boots. I think, Victoria, you always wear boots, don't you? And I think most guides do recommend it's good to have ankle support, because a lot of times people ask, can we just wear trail shoes? Can we wear runners? I think, Becca, what you were wearing up your mountain was like flip-flops, wasn't it?
Yes, not recommended for longer hikes.
No. So we do say, know your boots, know what you're wearing, really have broken them in. And it is a good idea to often have a couple of pairs so your feet get a change. And that's what I like to do, so you're not always in the same thing.
And really just wear what you're just really used to and comfortable in.
Exactly. And Victoria, you're going to talk a bit about the poles that we have available and we recommend.
So some of you are experts hikers. You know already how to use them. But for some of you that are not familiar with, poles will help you walk. They're going to help you on the uphill. They're going to give you another base on the downhill as well. And something really interesting is that sometimes when we're walking, we get swollen hands. And that's one of the things that's going to be helpful with. Before we move on, I wanted just to give another note of boots. So I would say boots and something else. So maybe one day for light shoes, but high mountain, we do need boots. Okay. Also, I want maybe your easy flip flops for the hotel and then swimsuit. Don't forget, very important. Also, don't forget your backpack of the day. It doesn't need to carry a lot. So you maybe need at the most a 25 liters kind of backpack, easy to carry a picnic, easy to carry your little thing, easy to carry your extra layer or your jacket. If you are comfortable with bringing a bigger one, that's just perfect. Don't forget the hat, sun cream. They'll share the list. Then we're moving on to the next one because I wanted to talk about this device. We're doing lots of water stops, but there is something that I found through the years that is pretty useful in this device. You probably most of you know is a camelback. This device is kind of it would be like a plastic bag, but it has a very proper zip on top that carries on the water. You see the lady. It's very easy if you want to get that quick sip. Maybe we stopped and you were not thirsty, or if we are thirsty, that is too late. You want to drink as often as you want because that's going to keep you running very well. And if some of you have some day that you are not recovering so well and you feel like you are a bit tired or sore in the muscles, you may just bring a couple of tablets of electrolytes that could jump to the water that will keep you with a good level of hydration. Okay? So then if we drink water, we need to be being outdoors, being outside. I'm sorry if some of you feel familiar and see, I don't have to talk about this, but for some ladies, we found through the years that maybe because of their education or their family background, maybe they are not familiar with the being outdoors. We're very sensitive about this. There is plenty of time. Hey, I need to stop. We all wait. Privacy, you have your time. So we want to be considered about this. Maybe you just want to just go off the trail and just do your test, see if you're comfortable or how would you rather you want to try. And then please don't forget we are inside of a national park and we don't leave the present behind. We take the present with us. Then we just move in. I don't know if you heard about the time when we had that massive rainfall in Spain, which was crazy. We still went out to walk. So even if forecast is not the best, we can still do something. Maybe a shorter walk or maybe a different walk, but we will still do something. And that's also going to encourage because that day it wasn't raining, it was pouring. And we just got back to the hotel. There was some hail at the very end.
And you couldn't see a thing, could you? We couldn't see.
It was crazy, but we just enjoyed it. It was so much fun because suddenly people, reminded some time or when they were little or some other experience in life. So weather could be very changeable. And then we want to share as well what's little joys. Spain is well known because we have got best wines, best ham. Especially we're going to visit one of the villages where they dry ham in the highest place of Iberian Peninsula. For those of you that are vegetarian and love cheese as well, there is a big variety of cheese and homemade sweets. So there is mostly food for everyone. And on this note, I want to mention that if you've got any requirements, you are intolerant gluten or gluten-free, or you just are pescatarian or any other thing, we do all, exactly, vegan cheese as well. We want to know your preference because then we can make it easy for you. And then we need to know more about you to make it easy. And then we've got this slide that shows tapas. Tapas, is a small piece of any kind of food. It doesn't have to be with bread. It could be some other stuff. It could be just a little bowl with a dish of the day. It could be anything. It could be rice. You never know. You get for free when you order a drink. Like it doesn't have to be an alcoholic drink. If you just be like asking for a soft drink, you'll also get your little taste. And maybe this is a way of trying some food before ordering like in a big, plate. If you feel like in your evenings or this. And then we come to this lovely swimming pool, which is for me so great. The hotel is a family run, as I said before. And then the people that work there, they are also family between them. The swimming pool that we are showing you here belongs to the hotel, is completely private. We have direct access from the corridor of the rooms, but it's not heated. So you want to take that into account if it's early morning dip, like Ginny and I like to have very early, we don't care. Or if you just want to maybe wait for the sunny evenings when we come back from the hike, you just feel like sunbathing, or you bring your book, or you just want to chat with your family, or just have some chill time. As well, on the right of this side of the hotel, they have some green area where you could also lay down in the grass. Very spotless. Everything is spotless. It's so clean. And best breakfast that we get in the morning.
Best coffee, don't forget.
Best coffee, you order the way you want it, they make it, and then they know for the next day they will basically do the same. It's fresh products. So the rooms are very beautiful. It's a lovely hotel. We get to listen to the bell of the church, which is just across the street, but this is not bothering us. It's a peaceful village. And then I just want to recommend a couple of readings about this area. We've got, like, let's say, the ancient background, all the Moorish kind of background. This is more a novel, but really pictures very well how Christians came over and they were expulsed of the city and they had to hide in the mountains. And then all these sorts of stories. If you love reading, this is for you. And then we've got the modern book, Driving Over Lemons, which is from this Chris Stewart, which is the guitarist. He was a guitar player of
Genesis. Was it Genesis?
right? Yeah. And he is picturing very well all his strugglings to live there. How did he worry about when to get water? Because you've got a schedule if you want water. So many things happening going on that will maybe give you another perspective. May do the click. And last thing I want to do is thank you all for listening. And we want to welcome. We're here for you.
We hope to see you soon. We hope we can help you embrace the beauty of Spain.